Alright guys, today we're going to look at rotations of objects. It's on page 228 of your textbook, chapter 23. So we're going to look into this first question first. When we're looking at rotation of objects, we're looking at getting flat surfaces like this, drawing them in a view, then rotating them through an axis until we see the surface at a slightly different angle where things look distorted. That's basically what we're going to be doing. In this case here, we're going to have a flag in position there, and it's going to rotate up to a position here. And we're going to see what it looks like in that view. So just to zoom in and have a look at the question really quickly. The setup for this should be straightforward enough. We've got a rectangle with a triangle-based arrow in the center of it. We've got our widths, we've got our heights, so it should be easy enough to set this up. We're then going to come down, we're going to draw a plan view of the flag, which is just a straight line, and we're going to project this line out here. Now, we've got our north, south, east, and west here, which are the compass marks. This is southwest here, which is halfway between south and west, so that's at 45 degrees, just down here. So this is at 45 degrees down here. Okay, so we're going to draw that first, and then we'll have a look at the rotation part. So we'll start off just with the horizontal line, which is going to be our XY. We'll pick a point, we're going to come over our widths. So we know the total width of this is 150 when you add it all together, but it comes over 15, then 70, which is 85, then 40, which is 125, and then 15, which is 140. We're just going to project them lines up, nice and lightly, to start setting out our drawing. Next thing is, we're going to put in our vertical heights. So we can see from our textbook that it goes 20, then it goes 15, and 15, 15, 15, and 20, which is 100 altogether. And we'll just bring these across. And that will grid up our drawing, which will make it easier for us to draw in our shapes. Now, when we start looking at the rotation, these are all vertical heights, and in our rotated view, which will be over here, the vertical heights won't change, so we'll use them again. So we're just going to draw in the heavy lines of what we know. So we know that this is the outline here. Nothing too difficult there. Okay, then we know that that is one point on the arrow, that's another point on the arrow, that's the apex of it, that's one corner, and that's the other. So we can draw that in heavy as well. And our grid lines make that pretty easy to do. Horizontal lines, then the vertical lines, and finally the inclined lines. So that setup there shouldn't be too difficult. There's not a whole lot of difficult stuff on there. It's very much first year stuff. Now, next thing is we're going to set up our plan. So we're just going to come down from my XY line, 20 millimeters. I'm going to project down my points. Just the width of this first. Now, this is only going to look like an edge view because the flag has got no thickness. So that's the first part there. That's our plan completed. And the last thing is we want to put in the line that represents where we're going to rotate this object to. So if this is where we've got our protractor, it's going to come down like here. Okay. So just going to draw that in, like so. So that's the setup of that basically done. There's nothing more to it in just the setup. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is going to look at how this rotates. So if we imagine this here again, when this rotates, it'll come across this way, the same as it's pivoting and going around this way. So we need to track each one of the points. So the first thing we're going to rotate is we're going to rotate this rectangle here. All right, I'm going to label this A, B, C, and D. And our center of rotation is this line here. It's like the hinge of a door. If this is a door closed, as it opens up, it's hinged on this point here. So we're going to use that as a knowledge. That's a straight line here, so we know that's a point view of that hinge. So we can use this as a center of rotation. So just to show you how you get the width of the door, you set your compass like so to the length of the line, and then swing an arc, and that plots the path that the door follows, or the flag in this case, as it spins around that hinge point. I can then draw this in heavy, which will give me that there. So that's the final position of where the door is. So as this is turning here, it's also happening up here. So we need to see where it finishes up. So we're going to just extend my XY line out that way. And as our shape is rotating, so if we look at the protractor again, as it rotates, the height or the heights above the XY line never change. They just seem to move horizontally. So if we have a look at the height of the door up here, that's not going to change. No matter if it's open or closed, the height of a door doesn't change. It's the same with this flag. No matter what angle it's at, it won't change. So we're just going to project up 30 degrees square. Up like so. And now I know in my elevation that the elevation of that rotated surface is actually this. So elevation, when it's rotated, it's similar with the angles and the heights, but it's a lot thinner, because when we're looking in here at 90 degrees, we see less space. We're going to repeat that now for the rest of the points. We're going to have a look in here. I'm going to label the points here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And when you're doing these questions, it's important to label these points. It makes it easier to track them. So we're going to project down from our elevation to our plan the line that represents the points 1 and 7. That's 1 and 7 there. Now, that's on my door when it's closed, or on my flag when it's laying, when I'm looking at 90 degrees. So I need to rotate that. So I just repeat the process that I did for the line on the outside. So I'm going to set my compass into that point there. I'm going to rotate it around. And I'm going to project it straight up. So that's I know now at points 1 and 7 in my rotated view are on that line. I'm going to go to my elevation, because when we do our rotation, the heights above the XY don't change. I'm going to bring that over there. I'm going to bring that there. That gives me that point there. And that point there, which is 1 and 7. And I'm going to repeat that for the rest of the lines. So this next one here, we've got 3, 2, 6, and 5 all on the one line, which is good. So 2, 3, 5, and 6 are all on there. Repeat the process once again. Set your compass, plot the path as it rotates. Just to speed things up, I'm going to bring 4 down here as well. I'm going to plot the path of 4 as well. Goes there to there. Just remember, these are always going that way. I'm going to bring my heights up again. So 4 pops up to here, so I know the point 4 is on there somewhere. That pops up to there. I'm going to project 4 across to there. That gives me that point here. 3 gives me that point here. That's that point there. Again, just plotting them horizontally across from my elevation. There I've got my points. So I have 1, 2, that's 5, that's 6, that's 4, that's 3, and that's 2, and I just need to join it. So we're just going to do the horizontal lines here. Horizontal line here. Vertical line here. These two vertical lines. Inclined line from 5 to 4. An inclined line from 3 to 4. So that's how you'd rotate that surface. That's quite a simple rotation there. But when we're looking at the actual exam question, the only thing that gets more difficult is this shape in here. All right, and as you move on, you'll have a look that sometimes you have to use your knowledge of geometry and enlarging and reducing shapes to get that sorted out. So just to remember, when you're looking at these questions, you'll start off, you'll draw the elevation or the plan, whichever view gives you the most information and the one that's usually more detailed in the question. You then draw the other view. In this case, we drew the plan. You work out or draw the line of where it's going to all end up. Label your points. Bring them down from one view to the next. Rotate them around the axis. And then match them all up again.